few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
What happens when a company that built its legacy on American soil starts packing its bags to leave? There is definitely something went wrong. John Deere, the name stamped on generations of farm equipment, faced a storm. A $55 million factory in Mexico. Over 2,000 American jobs were slashed, a furious Trump threatening 200% tariffs. Prices of tractors and combines were raised, and farmers got stuck in the middle. In today's video, we're breaking down what's really behind the shutdowns, the political chaos, the automation shift, and the impact on American farming. Was this the end of Made in USA farming? Hit the like and subscribe button for updates, and let's get into it. John Deere, an icon of American manufacturing since 1837, decided to shift key parts of its production south of the border. The company's $55 million investment in a new plant in Nuevo León, Mexico, and setting it to be operational by 2026 isn't just a business move, it was a seismic shift. While this new facility will crank out compact track loaders and mid-frame skid steer loaders, machines previously made in Iowa, Deere says it's not a retreat. Instead, it's a strategic global move to stay competitive. Mexico's construction equipment market, it's exploding, up a staggering 76% since 2022, turning it into an OEM magnet. Deere's already set up shop with multiple facilities in Saltillo, Torreón, Ramos Arizpe, and Monterrey, so this expansion was just about building on their long-term presence. Executives said it's all about aligning local production with soaring regional demand while giving their U.S. factories breathing room to nail those high-value machines like the 9RX tractor. Still, the optics weren't great. Layoffs in Iowa, investments in Mexico, and timing that couldn't be worse politically all add up to a PR headache. And then, Trump, whose election campaign was all about bringing production back to America, gave a threat that changed the whole situation on its head. Donald Trump hadn't held back either. At a roundtable event in Pennsylvania, the former president had zeroed in on John Deere, threatening a 200% tariff on any products the company manufactures in Mexico and sells back to the U.S. He said, "I'm just notifying John Deere right now.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors.
If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything you want to sell into the United States." That was a bold and definitely surprising move. Just as Deere was finalizing plans to shift skid steer and compact loader production from Iowa to a new Mexican facility, Trump issued a stark warning. That threat immediately sent ripples through the market, causing Deere's stock to dip nearly 2% in after-hours trading. Trump's strategy echoed his broader plan to bring jobs back by penalizing companies that outsource. He already targeted automakers. Now, Deere was in his sights. His message to companies was clear: if you abandon American workers, expect consequences. But there's another side to this coin. Economists warned tariffs could backfire, raising equipment costs for American farmers already under pressure from falling crop prices and rising interest rates. And if Deere won't budge under pressure, Trump's threat might spark a bigger standoff in America's heartland. But what happens when tariffs collide with demand destruction? The answer: shutdowns. John Deere was really feeling the pinch. With production shutdowns hitting hard, the ripple effects were spreading fast. In late 2024, their Ottawa Works facility in Iowa temporarily closed its doors due to a big drop in demand. And now, another shutdown is slated for December 2025 through January 2026. And Ottumwa isn't the only one struggling. Plants in Waterloo, Dubuque, Davenport, and East Moline have also faced multiple rounds of layoffs and reduced output. The reasons? A collapsing farm economy. The USDA warned that the net farm income will fall 25.5% the same year, after a 16% drop the year before, the sharpest two-year decline in U.S. history. Corn, soybeans, and wheat prices had all dropped between 24% and 37% from 2022 levels. With tighter margins, farmers were delaying equipment purchases, forcing Deere to scale back production. By the numbers, the impact was staggering. Over 2,000 layoffs across Iowa and Illinois in 2024 alone. While some shutdowns were labeled temporary inventory adjustments, workers and local economies feel the hit. Meanwhile, demand for high-horsepower tractors remained somewhat steady, but it wasn't enough to offset the broader slump. With facilities quiet and layoffs mounting, public frustration rose and farmers began to question Deere's long-term direction. John Deere's decision to shift production to Mexico and slash jobs across the Midwest had split its core audience. American farmers and rural communities. For some, this was just the reality of global business, a necessary evolution to stay competitive in a tough economy. For others, it felt like a gut punch from a company they trusted for generations. On one side, there was a cautious support. Some farmers understand that Deere is reacting to a sharp downturn in the agriculture economy. With farm income crashed and equipment sales down 20%, Deere was trying to stay afloat. They saw automation and global positioning as a smart strategy, but many others called it a betrayal. Thousands of job cuts in Iowa and Illinois, raised equipment prices, and a CEO making $26.8 million a year, it was a hard sell. The United Auto Workers Union had blasted the company for prioritizing profits and buybacks over American jobs. Social media backlash had been fierce, with critics accusing Deere of abandoning its identity. Even customers were feeling it. Used tractor prices were climbing, and new equipment will cost more now in 2025. Supporters called it survival. Detractors called it a sellout. Either way, the pressure is on Deere to justify its choices. John Deere said the outrage was missing the bigger picture. According to company leadership, they're not downsizing America, they're optimizing it. Deere had committed to investing $20 billion in U.S. manufacturing over the next decade. That included factory upgrades in Missouri, North Carolina, and Tennessee, plus major tech innovations like see and spray kits. Executives said shifting less complex tasks like cab assembly to Mexico frees up American plants to focus on high-value products. They pointed to Waterloo, where the new 9RX 830 horsepower tractor is now rolling down the same line that once made cabs. Corey Reed, president of Deere's agriculture division, said automation is part of the solution, not the problem. From AI-powered tractors to autonomous mowers, Deere's goal is to help farmers do more with less. Less than 5% of U.S. sales come from Mexican-made equipment, and over 75% of sales in the U.S. are from U.S.-based factories. Reed says, "We're bullish on American agriculture, but bullish doesn't mean blind." The next big shift wasn't about geography, it was about technology and survival. As nationalism rose and trade tensions grew, Deere walked a tightrope between global efficiency and political backlash. But the real disruptor wasn't tariffs, it was technology. Deere is still betting big on automation. Think AI-powered tractors that can till, plant, and harvest on their own. That's how the company plans to tackle farm labor shortages, reduce costs, and maintain production in a volatile market. But there's a problem. Automation could mean fewer jobs both in Mexico and the US. Meanwhile, the company is also navigating a shaky economic landscape. Farmers face tighter margins, interest rates are up, equipment demand is down, and even used tractors are starting to look like luxury goods. Still, the long-term outlook for agriculture commodities is strong. A record U.S. corn crop could boost demand again by 2026. If Deere plays it right, it could ride that rebound, but if politics derail its plans, all bets are off. The real question isn't whether Made in USA is ending, it's whether it can evolve fast enough to survive the storm. In the end, here's a quick overview of the details we explained so far. John Deere is shifting part of its production to Mexico, triggering shutdowns in Iowa, thousands of layoffs, and rising prices for equipment. Trump is pushing back with massive tariff threats. Farmers are split, some see it as strategic, and others call it a betrayal. Meanwhile, automation and global economics are rewriting the rules. What do you think? Should companies like Deere be punished for moving jobs overseas? And can automation truly save farming? Or will it push more people out of their jobs? Comment below. Hit the like and subscribe button for more updates. See you in the next video.